Okay, Betsy, thank you for taking the time to meet with me again. Let's just start by reviewing our conversations we've had in the past, as well as the classroom observation. That day we talked about some of the great things you were doing, classroom management and engaging some of our struggling readers. But we focused primarily on the questioning techniques you use with the short story, as well as with the vocabulary words. Let's start by, again, refresh your memory. Tell me more about the kids that are in your class. How do they get there?
The kids that are in our class are identified by the Iowa assessment test. They are placed if they get below the 50th percentile on the Iowa assessment reading comprehension portion of it. They're put in our room. And then also we do a BRI, basic reading inventory test, the fall to see exactly where they're at. But they're placed in here because of their Iowa assessment score.
Okay. So your goal would be to get those kids out of your room at the end of each year once the Iowa assessment's been given. Okay. So let's talk about what I noticed when I was in your room, and that was your basic questioning techniques that you used with your students. Most of the questions were recall, basic comprehension questions, and we talked about how we can expand on that to help the students have a deeper understanding of not only the vocabulary, but the stories and some of the context that they're reading other stories, and how we can continue that forward. So we have a plan in place, or we have a plan that we're going to talk about today, and how we can move that forward. Let's talk about what are some things in which you can do to increase the level of questioning that's happening in your class.
Well, I can use Bloom's taxonomy will help. I'm also using the classroom instruction that works, using things out of that, and really focusing on my questioning. And since our last meeting I have, and their vocab test scores were much higher this time versus the previous ones. I think it was because I used higher order questioning in the review, our daily review when they come in here.
Okay. Do you think the students notice a difference in that short time?
Yeah, they can spout out the definitions, and then the answer is a lot quicker.
Okay.
Yeah, and they better recall of them.
So if this is going to be our plan for the next year, let's talk about how we're going to monitor that, how we're going to implement it, and then how we're going to measure success over the next year. So the implementation, what will that look like in a typical class period for you?
Well, for vocabulary, it's more of having high order questions after I introduce new vocab words. With the questions throughout the read alouds, would be, again, to incorporate more high order thinking questions, so they can relate more to the story, which then helps them better understand the vocab words. And I do my skills lesson again when I learn the skills lesson, giving them questions that are higher order, that are like the Iowa assessment questions that they can work with, so that they are better prepared coming to Iowa assessment, and they just become a better reader.
I know our language arts support, or second chance reading, is a very structured program on the 6 or 7 day cycle that you're on. Do you see any problems incorporating these questioning techniques into your lesson?
No, because a lot of our lessons are questioning and going back, predicting, repredicting, and so no.
Okay. Let's talk about how are we going to monitor the implementation. What are some ways in which you can show, or that I could observe, the use of the questioning? How can we keep track of that?
One thing I could do is, again, use their vocab, their scores on the vocab test, because they were a lot better this time around, especially the kids that don't usually do well. They did a lot better this time because I used the higher order thinking questions and reviewing every day. So that's one way I can measure it. Could be
what type of artifact or what type of evidence could you produce that would show that you're doing that in class? Maybe a lesson plan?
Oh yeah, lesson plan, a vocab test, any of their daily, I guess an artifact.
Could you
journaling?
Okay.
Another one.
Common assessment?
Yeah.
Next quarter?
Yep.
Okay.
Quarter test, and then the semester as well.
Okay. Good. So, and I could also measure doing walkthroughs or classroom observations or some type of evaluation. So there's a lot of different ways we can show evidence that it's happening in your room. So now let's talk about, we're going to do it, this is how we're going to show that we're doing it. How often, or what type of results, what evidence can we collect that the results are making a difference?
I think a big one would be probably their quarter vocab assessment test, or even their semester exam, because it's going to be based towards like the Iowa assessment. So to see if they're doing better on those, because they took a pre-test before, so then we compare the data from the post, the semester exam to see how much they've improved.
Okay.
And then again, their quarterly vocab tests, because we're constantly reviewing, so, and for them to be able to relate it also, because in the plan test today, one of the vocab words we already had was in one of their directions. So them being able to identify them in other classes that they are taking and outside of the classroom.
Okay. Do you see anything that you're going to need help with incorporating the questioning techniques in your classroom?
Maybe just figuring out, for me, probably just figuring out where and which types of questions I'm going to incorporate, where I'm going to incorporate them either in a read aloud, a skill lesson, or a vocab.
Okay. Do you have the resources you need to be able to do that, or do you need some help from me or someone else?
No, the classroom instruction book really helps, and also we have PLC every other day, so I can collaborate with the other 2 reading teachers as well to figure out how we can incorporate those higher order questioning.
Okay. Is there anything else that you need from me or from other administrators or your other teachers to help you be successful?
No, just any type of feedback of what I need to improve on.
Okay. So obviously, this would improve student achievement. So tell me how this goal, your goal of increased student achievement with your students, ties in with your school goals as well as the district goals.
Well, our kids' achievement in this class is going to hopefully translate into the Iowa assessment score, which then is something that our school is really working on, again, focusing on reading and math, because science they're doing really well in. So how well our kids doing here is going to translate how they do on the test, which will help our school goal, but then also our district goal of getting our kids to do all those tests, so we're not on the sign-up plan, we're not being on the watch list for districts.
Okay. So it'd be fair to say your goal would be then not to have any kids in your class next year and have every kid be proficient to work yourself out of the job. Yeah. Okay. Any questions for me? Anything? We can start this plan as soon as tomorrow. We just need you to sign off, and I can sign off on it. But is there anything that any questions you have for me or how to get started?
No, just keep telling me what I need to improve on to become a better teacher.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.